How to make a man not just miss you, but yearn for communication. Here are all 8 rules that I will enumerate today. Use them in your life, and you are guaranteed to be happy in a relationship with a man. Be sure to watch the video till the end, because the last rule will give you a 100% understanding of who is beside you and what the prospects of your relationship are. So, let's go. First rule. Remember it once and for all. Never impose yourself, and don't try to constantly be within the man's sight 24/7. If you do this, the man will start perceiving you as a restriction in his life, possibly as control or even toxicity. Many girls during the period of infatuation forget about their own affairs and fully immerse themselves in the man. Good morning, how are you feeling? How did you sleep? How did you eat? What were you thinking about? What are you going to do? And much more. When a woman falls in love with a man, she must remember one important rule. Under no circumstances should she abandon those affairs, interests, and values that are already present in her life. My recommendation is to add at least 2 new activities to your list. For instance, if you have sports, training sessions, lectures, studies, meetings with a developing circle, add 2 more, say dancing and drawing. Do whatever you want. Why is this necessary? Your task is to ensure an uninterrupted supply of joy and happiness hormones, emotions that do not depend on the man. In this case, a man who is truly interested in you will awaken his hunter instinct. That is, he will be interested in seeking you out, enticing you, being interested in you, sharing space with you. He will develop a desire to reach out. This does not mean you should play hard to get by, only letting him call while you act like a princess who won't write or call. No, you can exchange messages subtly, but it shouldn't be dull and monotonous. If a man asks, "What are you doing?" the answer should be meaningful and rich, not just "nothing special." A man should understand that you are evolving and are a mature personality. If he himself is a mature partner, he will appreciate it. How to check his maturity and understand if he is a safe partner. We will discuss this later today. Therefore, memorize the first rule, apply it in your life, and under no circumstance break it. If your relationship started out precisely this way, like this video. The second, very important point. Slow down the rapid development of relationships. As my practice shows, many girls, thoughtlessly succumbing to emotions and infatuation, quickly dive into relationships and later regret it. Your task is not to rush, to understand. If you enter a relationship resembling cohabitation, a man may propose quite early. For example, admitting love after just 2-3 weeks. As a psychologist and psychology teacher, I can say that family is a structure, and the infatuation period is often perceived as a period of love, though it actually isn't. Most couples confess mutual love during this period, and when it ends, they mistakenly believe that love has ended, though they haven't reached real love yet. Therefore, your task is to spend time communicating with the man in order to look closely at him and figure out who he really is. As promised, we'll discuss this later in the video, so watch till the end because the last point will be key. Your task is to show the man that you are the master of your life and your time. He may rush events, hinting at a quick move-in or marriage, proposing to get closer than ever. Don't rush. The fact is, many women who rush into relationships and agree to quick intimacy overly complicate the process of building truly happy relationships. Then when you form not only an emotional but also a physical attachment, it becomes difficult to leave the relationship, even if at early stages you notice unworthy behavior from the man or discover his flaws. You might hope the situation will improve, but most likely it will stay the same and you will feel worse in these relationships. Which women usually hurry to transition to a more serious stage in relationships? Generally, it's women who lack psychological maturity or have childhood traumas, such as fear of rejection or abandonment. These women often face problems setting personal boundaries, accompanied by a dominant, immature psychological state. They cannot be autonomous individuals and feel happy without a partner. The next very important point. each modern girl and woman should pay attention to is using live communication technology. Nowadays, various messengers are widely used where you can see each other. For example, even on Instagram, you can understand what a person is doing. You post stories. I'm taking my dog for grooming. I'm jogging. I'm at work. I met with a friend. I'm having tea, and so forth. In this format, you become fully available to the man since he can see where and with whom you are at any moment. If you continually text with a man, exchanging long texts and voice notes, he won't feel the sense of missing you, because you always remain in his informational field. Now imagine a different situation. He doesn't see you on Instagram. Through stories, he can't know where and who you're with now. You, of course, reply to his messages, but your responses are brief and without extra details. This encourages the man to seek live contact and discuss everything personally. As my practice shows, modern issues between men and women often relate to a lack of live communication. Everything boils down to texting, calls, and exchanging emojis. Without this effect of mystery, the man loses the desire to meet up. For example, if a man asks, "How are you? What are you doing?" You don't need to roll out all the details. Answer simply, "All good, working, at the gym, studying." Add that you'll tell him more in person. This stimulates the desire to meet and discuss everything personally. Men are always interested in women they like, especially if they are not always in sight. Remember this rule and never break it. The following very important rule: do not feed the man's vanity. Modern men and young guys often possess inflated egos, accompanied by narcissistic tendencies and a sense of superiority, considering themselves almost masters of the world. Many girls, especially those with self-esteem issues, begin showering such men with compliments, admiring them. "You are the best man in the world. I can't imagine how I'll manage without you," and so on, although they've only recently met. Why shouldn't you do this? Because you don't truly know who is before you. During infatuation periods, both men and women may slightly exaggerate their merits. It's an unpleasant truth, but no one shows their true self at the acquaintance stage. Only psychologically mature people can address such issues openly, admitting shortcomings or weaknesses. When you flatter a man emphasizing his imaginary merits, this may lead him to consider himself the center of the universe, and you'll remain somewhere aside. You should not do this under any circumstances, otherwise you could suffer greatly. Here's a story of one girl. She told that she met a man around 32-33 years old, who constantly talked about incredible things regarding himself, how cool he was, managing any tasks. And she nodded along, amazed and impressed. However, when the infatuation period ended and real problems arose, it turned out he was unable to tackle problems. Tasks were postponed for weeks and months, eventually becoming unsolvable. It turned out he had excuses for every occasion. This situation helped the girl better understand who was beside her. Ultimately, such an approach can become a common game, motivating a man to pretend instead of being himself. This must be avoided at all costs. The following rule is very important. Do not try to be not like everyone else in a negative sense, or conversely, completely blend into the crowd. In modern society, it's often noticeable how women strive to look alike. This tendency towards similarity expresses itself in everything: fashion, hairstyles, style of dress. Even plastic surgery reflects certain trends. Some pump up lips, correct noses, increase breasts or buttocks, and these changes become mass trends. Many women, experiencing self-doubt, believe that fitting social standards will help attract a mature man. However, psychologically mature men more often seek individuality, someone capable of being themselves regardless of societal norms and trends. I remember when I was about 18-20 years old, my friends and I would attend parties where young people danced to popular music. All the girls often danced similarly, following trendy moves. But once, a girl emerged who began dancing entirely her own way, to attract from the prodigy, which was very popular then. Her unique moves attracted everyone's attention. Even those who had been dancing uniformly stopped and watched. A circle of spectators formed around her, speaking to the true value of individuality. Individuality always stands out against uniformity. You don't need to strive to be like everyone else, as you are uniquely gifted by nature. Striving to resemble others will not lead to anything good. Men, just like women, make comparative analyses. And if you become one among many, your chances for a happy relationship significantly decrease. There's a phrase, "A woman is a book. She needs to be read throughout life." Imagine such a metaphor. A huge encyclopedia that cannot be held in hands must be placed on the table and carefully flipped through its pages. If a woman's internal life resembles such an encyclopedia, a man will be intrigued to learn it. She is multifacetedly developed, thinks broadly, and successfully manifests herself in various spheres of life. She is capable of holding a conversation on any topic, which invokes genuine interest. There's a myth that men don't care whether a woman is smart or not. This isn't true. If it concerns only physical attraction, intellect may not matter. But for serious relationships, intellectual development is crucial. Research argues that individuals engaged in self-education and self-awareness have significantly higher chances of happiness in relationships compared to those with a pronounced intellectual gap between partners. Being a mystery to a man means continuing to develop. This implies being interesting to yourself and discovering something new within. An example comes from an occasion when friends visited me to enjoy a sauna, equipped with a karaoke system. I thought I knew its capabilities. However, a friend showed me new projector features, and I was amazed. Under my ceiling was completely new, surprising potential. Such is the case with women who occasionally enter relationships without fully realizing their potential. Knowing basic facts about oneself is one thing, but acknowledging your uniqueness requires profound internal exploration. Rather than shifting the responsibility onto a man to acknowledge your significance, it makes sense to focus on personal development. There exists a vast difference between a woman encyclopedia and a woman couple of sheets. To remain intriguing and enigmatic, one must continuously grow. Self-development broadens your perception of yourself as an individual. Studying complex processes like self-esteem formation enables greater awareness. Many mistakenly believe that external changes, like plastic surgeries, may elevate self-esteem. But this is a misconception. Internal enhancements hold primary importance. When you're beautiful inside, when you're aware and mature, your attractiveness increases manifold. A man will be drawn to such a woman, think about her and miss her absence. As I've mentioned earlier, there's one extremely important aspect that forms the foundation. Ignoring it can have quite unpredictable outcomes. What is it exactly? You need to embed yourself, but not in the sense of opposing, but into the man's circle with whom you are building a relationship. It's essential to elevate your relationship to the next level and get acquainted with his environment. In the surrounding of a successful and mature man, there can't be dilettantes and bores. Allow me to share a story. A girl shared that she met a man she liked very much. They dated for about a month, and at one point, he invited her to his friend's birthday party. She was shocked. The guests got drunk to the point that they were barely on their feet, insulted each other, humiliated their partners, and rudely interacted with the staff. The girl realized that something was wrong here. As the surroundings can say a lot about the person, it's unlikely your man will be honest and decent if his friends belong to the opposite category, boorish and drunks. The environment is a reflection of the person, and the behavior of friends can reveal the true nature of your chosen one. I say this not only as a psychologist, but just as a man. It's very important to pay attention to your partner's environment. It can significantly impact the development of your relationship. We all go through various periods in life. There were times when I was younger and not quite developed, and similar people surrounded me. It indicated that I held the same values as they did. Realizing this led me to distance myself from such a circle, and of course, it was shocking. We always reflect our environment, and it reflects us too. It's crucial to observe how your partner interacts with others, how kind and respectful he is to those around him, how he treats seniors and his parents. One should also pay attention to his attitude towards siblings, friends, and colleagues. Equally important is observing how he handles stress, plans his future, and manages finances. If you rapidly engage in the relationships forgetting about your self-development, a strong attachment may arise which would be difficult to escape. Hence, adhere to the following rules. When a woman explores the inner world of a man and that world is adequate and open, she becomes part of his life and he starts to miss her absence. If there's anything the man wants to hide, he will avoid getting closer. This is an important signal. Be cautious if you aren't introduced to family over the course of months or even a year. Discuss this situation and ask about family dynamics. A woman who is psychologically mature and conscious will find it easier to control these moments. She is ready to manage her life's course rather than just float in search of happiness. These rules are created for those aiming for awareness and active participation in forming happy relationships.